Uh, I want to say condolences to the families of those who injured or unalived in this senseless attack that happened here in this city where I'm born and raised, Tallahassee, Florida. Today, an FSU campus, like I say, and I say it that way because I'm reading one article that says unalive, and the next article says the six were injured, five were unalive. So I just wanted to put it out there right now. And I just, did a video. I mean, a live, you know, talking about uh, this particular these particular attacks and killings that happen, and why and what are not solutions. But I just want just to put that out there. Um, you know, there's things that doesn't need to happen, but they do, and it's not because of what, but who and why. And if people think that, oh, because it's because of the firearm or guns that these senseless attacks are happening, then I don't know what to tell you. Okay, but let me play the video for you, news clip of.
We begin now with breaking news out of Florida and a shooting on the Florida State University campus in Tallahassee. Right now, ABC News is reporting at least 6 people injured during the gunfire. One is said to be critical, 5 others in serious condition. There are also reports that a suspect is now in custody. The university says police first responded to an active shooter call near the student union. Students were told to shelter in place. Officers have been going building by building, evacuating students and making sure the campus is secure. Again, both ABC and CNN report a suspect is in custody now. We'll keep monitoring this and we'll update you as we learn new details.
Play one more video. Really hated ads. Here's what and this is Lil 6 Minutes, and I'm gonna give. He would install Pi on his computer without spending my take on it. Okay, there we go.
And joining me live in the studio here now is Fox 35 news anchor John Brown. And John, we appreciate you joining us.
Show it to you, but it keeps
still a lot we don't know
buffering
about this situation, but a lot that we do know that it is a sad day and a tragic day on this campus in Tallahassee.
And I think that's the things that we don't know, I think, are the things that everybody wants to know at this point. And I know you said it's 4 o'clock. They're planning on having a press briefing up there. But again, so many different reports. As I scroll through social media, you can see how these stories.
Shalom to everybody in the chat.
Shalom,
doing
well,
pretty decent today.
Or not, but so many differing reports on social media right now. It's hard to know what to believe. So just keep that in mind. But one thing that I do find interesting is I heard somebody talking on the way in on the radio is about this whole parental reunification with the students. And I know Amy was in here. She has a daughter up there. One, they made the point that this is an entire generation that has grown up with these kind of drills. Previous generations like mine, you had a fire drill, tornado drill, and that was it. This entire generation has grown up with this. And so I think that's what's so shocking is so many people have been interviewed on TV at different networks today saying, went through high school and nothing happened. I never thought it would happen here. That's a common thing that we hear so many times is everybody feels comfortable where they are. And then you always hear those stories. I never thought it would happen here. Yes, Gary.
We have, it looks like our camera from WTXL, they're talking to someone here on the campus. Let's go ahead and listen in to see what they're saying.
Shooting. And in that moment, I, of course, gathered myself and then alerted all of my staff, got them to a place where they were safe, and ensured that I let my supervisors know that something was happening in the building. And so, you don't expect these types of things. Certainly, it was pretty close to lunchtime, so typically a lot of my staff would have already left for lunch, maybe even been out walking. So we're thankful that everyone is safe. We got out of the building safe. The law enforcement officials took great care to make sure the building was safe and secure. We all got out safe and secure.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that she was telling me was that she couldn't exactly see what was going on, but she could hear. Can you describe what that sounded like?
It just sounded like really loud bangs when we were alerted. It sounded like there could have been an active shooter on campus, and so we could just hear the banging noise, loud bangs from where we were. Like I said, this is a time of the year where it's a really celebratory time.
Mm-hmm.
Students are looking forward to ending the school year,
Yeah,
academic year rather. They're looking forward to graduation, and so not expecting this type of interruption in a day was somewhat shocking. It really was.
Absolutely, something that's going to leave a mark on the community for quite some time. I know that you said that, I want to divert into what you were saying. What were you feeling when you heard that sound? What was the first thought?
Well, I guess because I'm in a position where I oversee a group of people. My first thought was my staff. Where's my staff? How's everyone doing? And getting them to a place of safety. That was my thought in that moment. As soon as I became aware that yes, this is something serious. This isn't someone just playing around. I took what I heard to be shots as something serious, and my first thought was to alert everyone around me to get to a place of safety. And so that's what we did, make sure all of our staff around us was safe.
And one of the things we're talking about is that, you come to work. Did you expect anything like this could ever happen?
Absolutely not. Of course, you hear about these things in the news, in the media, but never expect it to happen so close to you.
Hey.
And so, having this happen today, it certainly helps put in perspective how precious life is, how we don't take things for granted. So I'm really grateful to how everyone responded today, how the law enforcement officials, a quick response, because as soon as we heard shooting, there were law enforcement all around us. And so just seeing FSU rise to the occasion in the way that we know FSU can do, everyone was strong. I saw resilience. I saw calm in that time of what could be chaos. But everything seemed to be organized in the way that it was handled as best as it could be in this a really active moment. So.
Yeah, and another thing, you told me that you're not able to get to your car. So what's kind of next for you?
Well, my daughter's birthday is this weekend, and I was planning on traveling to where she is out of town to help celebrate her birthday, which it still will happen. That's just, we are certainly thoughtful in our prayers of anyone and everyone who's been affected by this, but just really truly grateful for those that I have around me, my family, my friends. I'm all safe. Just to be able to give hugs and just show how much I love them. Same to my staff, just so much love, and the FSU community and everyone around in Tallahassee, everyone that's affected. I thought my sincere thoughts are with everyone on campus today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tanya, for giving that experience. I know that was tough, but we appreciate your insight from the incident. This is what it's looking like here. A lot of people telling me that they're just thankful that, their loved ones are safe. They are keeping those who were hurt in mind. They're worried about, just trying to get away from the situation, trying to find safety, making sure their loved ones have a way to get out as well. That's the current situation. We'll keep looking at things here.
So it appeared to be a faculty member of some sort from Florida State speaking there with that reporter from WTXL.
Discover your new Mitsubishi right now at Capital City Mitsubishi. Come finance 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4 for one.
All right, that's the end of the video, and I'm going to give my commentary on that. Like I say, I'm gonna get to the comments, and shalom to everybody that's in the chat. I'll read that. Okay, Aaliyah, I think I'm saying right. Leah J. Hey, how are you? My wife Michaela, how you doing? Yeah, it is sad, babes. This city is mourning hard right now. What happened? School shooting. Yes, if you saw the video, just happened. Now the show, what just happened Yeah, Leah J. At this point, why? And I want to get to your question. Very great question. That's going to revolve around a lot. Why at this point? If I'm saying your name right, correct? Leah J. At this point, why isn't there armed police and metal detectors in the school? Being correct. Like try to tell people this people who, and this is what the live is only based off of. Like I said, people who have the argument of, oh, well, we need, to get rid of guns, firearms, and this whole thing will be solved. This is why this keep happening to America because of the firearm. America has a gun problem or a firearm problem. And then you point to a place like the UK where they have a knife problem, where you can barely buy a knife to even cook food with. So that's not a solution to the problem because this is a human problem. This is a mental, spiritual, moral, and yes, to an extent, illegal. But when you try to just patch it up, easy fix. Okay, take away the gun. What's next? The knife. A lot of stabbings in the UK. Okay, so we try to regulate knives. It's the term of regulate how people use it today. It's still ongoing. And this happens, and I'm very familiar with this area because I grew up around it in that area. Not exactly there where it happened, but maybe about 5 miles away from where. But in the neighborhood, this is more the college. Like Tallahassee is a very college town. Everybody knows very, everything's based off of students in college. And I believe that this is not either the second or third school or mass, school shooting that happened on the college campus in the city. All right. And I believe it's FSU again too, but I have to go that. But with that being said, the problem is, and this happened in a gun-free zone. You have groups like GOA and others who advocate for students being armed. Okay, a lot of people got upset that the governor of Florida is reducing the age to buy a firearm to 18. All right, instead of 21, 18 to purchase and to possess a firearm. But the same 18-year-old can go to college, they can start a family, they can go to war with that same firearm, use bombs, get blowed up, blow people, but they can't, they can't own a gun for their own protection. And not only do the students have to worry about this because you're in a gun-free zone, these type of mass attacks happen, and where's the security? Like I said, security, armed police, metal detectors in school. But this was a campus, so it's going to be a little harder for that. Even though the shooter, I believe, was one of the shooters, I believe, was a college age individual person, I believe, male. The problem with that, will be it's going to be hard to just regulate everybody or to be observant of everybody. But if you arm students with the knowledge and with training and firearm safety, learning firearm safety and firearm training in high school, and by the time you get to college, you're well equipped on how to deal with situations because, like I said before, no matter what country you're in, like I even told somebody before, there was an attack that happened to a man in the Netherlands. Netherlands is like a very pro-LGBT place, and this person was attacked, was in a homophobic rant, attacked by this homophobe, and the people got there before the police got there. So it's up to the people for your personal safety. It's not up to the police. It's not up to the government. It's up to you, your family. If you have any real neighbors, you are the first responders. You are I tell people that. So when you tell people, say, well, you're 18, you're on your own, right? You have to get out. But then you don't say, hey, well, it's up to you to defend yourself, know how to defend yourself. We live in America where there's more guns than there is people. And that's just not for that. And that's just not for the guns that have been accounted for. That's for guns that you can't find. There's so many guns in the soil, in the lakes, there's more guns here than there's people. So you're never going to so you have to learn how to deal with guns in this country, in the world. I mean, we live in a world now, we have AI. We have technology that can do a whole lot of stuff to a whole lot of people. We got some robots that can go online and take out people just like that. Because, I mean, you talking about firearm, what is a human to an AI robot? Okay? To a machine, trying to fight a machine, okay? So, and rage against the gun or the machine gun is the wrong rage. Rage against probably that machine. But the firearm is not going to be the solution. What I think I was in there, Leah J, that is more so, especially in high schools. It could definitely be prevented more, like high schools, middle schools, elementary. Yeah, we have people who protect banks with armed guards, but when it comes to the schools, oh, gun-free zone. Take away the gun. You can't have a gun here. And when do criminals ever respect laws? That's like putting up a sign, hey, do not steal my car. And you expect car thieves not to steal it. So when you put signs on a college campus say, yo, you cannot have a gun here, what does that say to a person who say, oh, they can't have a gun? Well, I don't care about that. I want to take as many people I want to take before I go out. That's the place you're going to go to, all right? The place is like, oh, you cannot lock your cars here. If you're a car thief, what's the place you're going to go? The place where they can't lock their cars, especially have good cars, a lot of cars there. You're going to go to that car lot. So a car lot that makes it mandatory for you to have, a defense mechanism to combat, car thieves, they're probably going to go around the other way. So that's why they skip this place, skip that place, skip places where they know they're going to meet fire. They're going to have to meet fire with fire. They go to places where they know people are not usually going to be armed like that. So it's a place that every person can be armed and you don't even know it. You might get that person, but by the time they hear that and look go off, you're probably not going to get them, but they already reaching like, yo, looking at like, you feel me? So that is more of a real situation, a real reality or scenario on how to combat these type of things. But it's never going to be foolproof because, okay, today, one day it's the knife, one day it's the gun, the next day it's Molotov cocktails and something to go boom. The Boston Marathon. Show people that there's really no place that's safe. I'm gonna go to a safer place. It happens in the places that you least expect it. That's where evil usually go to. Places that you think you're safe, that's where you let your guard down. That's where it's usually going to happen. Because you don't expect it's a college campus, is this area, is that area, is a good neighborhood. So you want to be outside, watering the line. You're not going to think what's that car driving by? Who are them people? You're not going to be on guard. You're going to be an easy target, a much easier target. So instead of hardening the schools, you have people on certain aspects of the political spectrum, or the political side, that says, hey, we need to take away the guns. And we warn them, like, there's places where there's still shootings. Australia, there's still shootings, mass shootings, stabbings. UK, there's a lot of stabbings, acid attacks. That's not going to solve what's inside of here. See, the problem is not the gun, it's not the car, because I mentioned how the statistics say every year is about neck and neck of how many gun and car deaths. And most car deaths are through suicide. 60% of gun deaths are from suicide. It's not even these mass shootings or even drug type of bad drug deals going bad. It's not even those kind of situations, usually through suicide. And America is not even the highest when it comes to suicide. So, like I said, the problem is not the gun. There's places in America like Kennesaw, Georgia, that it's basically a mandate that every person of household, head of household, have a firearm. It's been that since 1984, and they have the lowest crime rate almost in the nation. I think they're like 40% or 20% below the national average of crime and murders. So they're very low. So you would think, and they're right above Atlanta, like a couple of miles above Atlanta, but they have very, but everybody has not gun, they have guns. And there's some documentaries, you can look it up, Kennesaw, Georgia, and you'll find, Kennesaw, or you say Georgia, firearm, gun, city, but yeah, they having a murder there is like, it's like seeing an alien, okay? That's how rare it's been for years. It's like, I think just from like 1984, I think they might have had like their first maybe homicide, maybe 2012 or I think it was 2012, I think maybe 2020 or 2021, around COVID, something like that. But they haven't had murder for years. So if it's the gun, then there should be nobody left in America if it's the firearm. And we try to tell people that these incidents are not every day. Oh, it's every day in America. It's not, because it wouldn't make the news. If it's an everyday thing, like I say, I went in the store and went to McDonald's and got a burger. Is that going to make the news? No, because that's every day. Everybody's doing it. Happens every day. If I go and get gas, is that going to make news? No, because everybody gets gas. That's a normal thing. And there's places in the United States where they haven't had any mass shooting. Okay, so just make it seem like it's the whole country, man. There's places where it's states where it's not even a lot of people there, or it's states where there are people there and they still have a low crime rate because it's a place that people, I guess, have a certain mindset versus other people. And when you put that mindset, when it comes to the criminal mindset, here in this country, that criminals, just like if you get rid of guns, I said, if you think it's going to solve the problem, it's just like getting rid of drugs. We have bans on drugs. What do we see the drug market, the drug cartel? Do we see that going down? No. So what make you think that everybody's going to give up the guns? No, the people who don't want to go to jail are going to give up the guns. The people who want to murder people, want to find an easy way to take advantage of people, are going to keep theirs. That's what happened. And then if you have a government that advocates for their citizens to give up their fire or not swords of that of ancient times, swords, weapons of the standard weapon of that day. Soon after that, those people were enslaved. Hitler did it on down. The samurai did it. I could be here all day. Just look through history, show you. So that's going to be a major problem because you might not have a lot of people doing mass shootings, but then you have the dictator dictating to you what you must do or cannot do, and if you don't do it that way, then they'll execute you, okay, for not obeying when they say jump 10 feet up in the air, you can't do it. Okay, you're out of here. So that's the kind of stuff that you subject yourself to, that type of oppression. So the slave cannot arm themselves, all right, with a standard weapon that gives you a pretty good fighting chance against most situations. And today that would be the firearm. Days of old, that would probably be the sword, right, or the bow and arrow, right, or the cross. But we're now, it's firearms, okay. So I just want to put it when people was like, oh yeah, see, this is another reason why people should give up their guns. This is why those of us who teach this or teach that, or for those who believe that you could be pro LGBT and be anti 2A or anti gun. Like I said, you're not living in reality, okay? And I'll say it right directly to you. You're not living in reality. And there's even trans people who agree with me, who do agree with me. You're not living in reality, okay? If you think that that's going to keep you safe, like I say, the Netherlands can't even keep you safe. One of the most pro LGBT places, there are people there that still hate LGBT, who are still bigoted. Okay, and you might not know that until the attack happens, because some people can act like, oh, okay, I'm fine with it, and then one day they just lose it and just say, yo, I want to just take my anger out on this person, even though they live in a country or a city that's predominantly black, that's predominantly LGBT, that's predominantly whatever, right? Marginalized people. There's still people there who still going to feel like I have the authority or right to take your life. They feel like they have the right and authority to harm you and to do that. So you're not going to stop it just by writing some law. All right. In America, the reason why America is the way it is, why it became the land of the free, because they said, oh yeah, the monarchy, Britain said you're going to do this, do that. Our founding fathers of the country said, no, we're not going to do that. And you know what? We're going to keep our guns, and we're not going to give you taxes. And okay, you can take it and see what happens. You can take these guns and see what happens. And they realized that, you know what, since we had to, because they were criminals, by the way, the founding fathers, the government they was under labeled them. It's just like today, like if anybody wants to break away from to America, you'll be labeled criminal insurrection. You'll be, if you do anything that upsets or go against. So if you go against the monarchy at the time, Britain, you was a criminal. There was rebels, Revolutionary War. And so they fought to be free, and they used weapons. And they say, you know what? Dang, they might try to come enslave us again. Or and they was enslaved, even though they wasn't really enslaved, but you know what I'm saying, But they say they can do it again. So we need everybody in this country to be armed. Because they can, if we have the whole country be a militia, right? Be a paramilitary type of force, then they would just have the military to fight. They'll have the common man and woman to fight too. Right? And most people don't want that. They want to take the military and put all the other people in subjection and colonize all that. So, we're going to make it very harder for them to take back what we fought hard to gain, right? And to free ourselves from. And you have, I think it was like the Japanese minister, prime minister at the time, I think it was in the 90s, he said America would never be invaded, or they invade America, something like that, because behind every American, behind every blade of grass, there's an American with a gun. So it's a big deterrent. If everybody is armed, just about everybody is armed, then most people from the outside, it's like, we're not going to invade them because we don't have to just deal with the military. We get past the military, we deal with the people. The people are more just as armed or more armed than the military. They are the military. They are part of the military. So we're going to have a whole lot to fight against. And it's just like, if you had a chance to fight against Mike Tyson and fight against, I don't know, Michael B. Jordan or somebody, you would probably choose Michael B. Jordan over Mike Tyson. Okay? So, come on, right? If you had Bruce Lee versus how can I say, Drewski or somebody, you got to fight Bruce Lee or Drewski. Most people say, Drewski. Okay? So, it's just like that. So, okay, message. Okay, anyway, but yeah, so this live was just not to be politically correct. This live was just to be correct. All right, period. On one of the solutions on how to combat this issue that we're having, and not just in America, because America's always the guns, but in the UK, Brazil, where they're bringing knives, they're bringing axes to school, and you got people who are doing these type of attacks. How to, solutions to it. And then, like I said, you have the mental aspect, you have the economic aspect, you have, hatred, you have a lot of things that can cause these type of attacks to happen. But people have to deal with the real issue. Why do people feel like to need to carry out these acts? And it's not the gun. Why do they do it in the first place? And what can you do to keep people from their mind from doing these type of attacks? And if you don't want to deal with that, okay, well, stop making these gun-free zones where these type of people who want to take as many people as they can usually frequent it, right? They usually frequent they usually go and attack these type of places, schools, places that the average citizen can be on or not going to be on. This is where you go. So I just want to put it out there, and like I said, if anybody has something to say, I'm gonna give a couple of seconds for you to say what you need to say. But my condolences to the family. And like I said, because I'm there's one report I'm hearing um, on a live, then I'm hearing injured, 65 injured. But there's a lot of stuff going on in this country, and the economic aspect. There's a lot of people who feel like they're bold to do stuff that they wouldn't have did before because somebody is in office, right now. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm not saying this is because of that, but there's a lot of people who are just at this time who are just, I guess, feel like they're fed up from this side, that side, whatever. But these events were happening prior to the current administration, before the one before, prior to that and prior to that, and like I said, and what are, and of course, people who show signs that they're willing to do something like this shouldn't have a firearm. But it's funny that most of the time when these attacks happen, especially in the high school, the FBI had already had it on their files that these people, they questioned them before these happened. They was at their door like, hey, we heard you making some threats or whatever, and then they let the person go, and it's like, so that's another issue too. Like, why are y'all letting people go who making threats to do these kind of incidents? Then you let them go right back on the street. But if somebody were to defend themselves against such people, then you could be looking at some time for defending yourself. But or for looking like you're about to defend yourself, you think the person might do something, like they showing signs like, hey, they was, and this person show all the signs that they're about to do such a senseless, heartless, type of attack, and you let them. So, like I said, there's layers to this. There's layers to this issue, but that's one other major layer, okay, that needs to, uh, be brought up. So security, okay. Let me see. This is here for review. Oh, that's that beige. Okay, yeah. Hey. Anyway, so but yeah. So it's a lot of stuff. Like I said, reality is bittersweet, and these are the times that we're in right now where people just need to be prayed up, uh, be vigilant, spiritually, physically, mentally. Of you know, Khalil Elamenzur. Okay, I'm saying if your name right. Hey, Shalom. Yeah. So need to be prayed up. You know, prepare for these type of scenario situations. I know it's something that we wish we shouldn't have to, but this is the world that we in. Paying bills, do a lot of stuff that we don't have to, and just getting rid of an inanimate object is not going to solve people's hearts and minds, and that's the problem. That is something that needs to be worked out. But yeah, so we have to prepare for these type of situations. Like if there's a storm coming, prepare. That's the best thing you can tell somebody. Say there's a storm. I don't know what to do. I'm tired of losing out on food. Prepare. Prepare for food. Prepare for your food going bad. And you need some extra food to stock up and all that. So there's when these type of events happen, the police security they're miles away, or they're minutes away, and all it takes is seconds. So, but then again, it's one of those things where you can prepare, but then, like I say, if you're a student, it's going to be hard to really, um, really prepare. And pepper spray is not a good option against these type of attacks. And but like I say, arming, having more security on the campus, and we don't want to make it seem like it's a war zone or whatever. How can I say a occupied war? But you have to, provide more security. And usually, the city really puts a lot of priority on the students when it comes to students, especially housing, and a lot of things like that, right? Jobs, all that. But when it comes to their physical safety, a lot of rapes and things happen on college campuses. A lot of, can I say, rapes? These lies. So a lot of essays and those things happen on college campuses. And you know what? I'm just in this live. I don't say it every time. Yeah, just look alive, y'all, and be blessed and be prayed up and cherish every moment you have with your loved ones while you can. I'm out. Shalom.